Welcome back to World Crisis Radio. And it seems to me that out of this important demonstration on Saturday, the 12th of December, at Lafayette Park across from the White House, and again, you can see it all at enduswars.org, the complete demonstration, plus selected segments, plus the best coverage of all was Russia Today, which made this the leading item all day Saturday into Sunday, and then a key item in their weekly review. And, of course, they played it against the Obama hypocritical presence there in Oslo for the Nobel Peace Prize, and this was then used as a counterpoint to show that at least a significant part of the American people, mass leaders of some note, are not buying Obama's demagogy. The peace movement has now awakened from its Obama-induced slumber and catatonia and is going to open up a flank on Obama's left, on his anti-war flank, which is ultimately inside the Democratic Party one of his greatest vulnerabilities, and he certainly knows this, right? And everything that he does with relation to Guantanamo and the rest of this stuff, of course, is designed to throw sops to this opposition. Although there will also be another dimension. I'll talk about it later in the show. Repression. People think Obama's a nice guy and their friend. No, Obama is a brutal imperialist operative, and he may show us dimensions of repression and suppression of civil liberties and muzzling of opposition, left and right, that will go beyond anything experienced by far under Bush, Cheney, and the neocon yoke that we've just come out from under. Therefore, Russia Today, as you can start by clicking on their coverage. Again, enduswars.org. But again, also go to tarpley.net, and you will see at least a short version of my speech up there. I would also point out, if you look at the essay, Obama Declares War on Pakistan, you'll see in there the arguments that I presented over the last couple of weeks, that this essentially is the attempt to export the Afghan civil war into Pakistan by goading the Pashtuns primarily and then secondarily the Baluchis into a general national insurrection which will break up the national unity of Afghanistan, Pakistan, and indeed Iran. That this is because of the status of Pakistan as an energy corridor, Pipelineistan, between Iran on the one side and China on the other. And what the Anglo-Americans apparently are determined not to tolerate is a peaceful oil and natural gas pipeline setup going from the Iranian oil fields through Pakistan, up the length of Pakistan, crossing the Himalayas above Kashmir and going then into western China and then beyond to the eastern Chinese markets. It would be a tremendous engineering feat, but of course, so was the Transcontinental Railroad of Abraham Lincoln, so was the Trans-Siberian Railroad of Count Sergei Witte and the Russians, the Russian Empire of that time. So was the Panama Canal, right? Nothing worthwhile can be done that is not an engineering challenge. So let's start tackling. Let's put aside the derivatives and the speculation and the options and the futures and the parasitism and start to grapple with the challenges of the real physical universe in terms of engineering, science, technology, progress, industry, and the bettering of the human condition through this kind of purposeful activity. So that's important. Now, in the course of this, it's important to see the U.S. cannot attack Pakistan because Pakistan is simply too big, 160 million people, much too big for an attack to even be contemplated, 6 or 7 times bigger than Iraq, 2.5 times bigger than Iran, and armed with nuclear weapons and the means to deliver them. This simply means that you cannot dream of a direct, large-scale conventional attack on Pakistan. That is excluded by the presence of these nuclear weapons. Whether they can be guaranteed or not, there's a danger that they may go off in the middle of your invasion fleet, and then suddenly no more invasion fleet. So that's too much to risk. Therefore, the goal is to attack Pakistan below the nuclear threshold, below the conventional threshold, using guerrilla warfare, fourth-generation warfare, oblique warfare, proxy warfare. And the proxy involved is this long-suffering, persecuted Pashtun population who are going to be goaded into rebellion by the presence of McChrystal's invasion army. The Pashtuns will be crushed under the heel of McChrystal Soldateska in Helmand, in Kandahar, in the border regions. They'll be antagonized to a frenzy, pushed across into Pakistan, where they will then be bombarded by Predator drones, Hellfire missiles, CIA snipers, CIA sharpshooters, and above all, Blackwater. And we have to go to those accusations coming from the Taliban that the bombs in Peshawar, killing 110 women and children in late October, bombs elsewhere all over Pakistan, are actually set by Blackwater. This is a very plausible charge. This is the charge made by the Taliban. The U.S. Congress, if they were serious, would be holding hearings immediately. Are the butchers of Blackwater active now on the Pakistani side? The Taliban say they are, and there's a significant body of Pakistani press opinion that also says so. The golden age of Blackwater, it would seem, was not even Bush-Cheney. The golden age of the Blackwater butchers is under Obama and Biden. Isn't that interesting? What a shame. How is that hope and change working for you now? The other question I'd like to acknowledge was very interesting for me. After writing this Obama declares war on Pakistan in a preliminary email that I put out the week before, I discovered that Ibrahim Malik of Sama Television, S-A-M-A-A, had written in his blog right after the West Point speech on December 1st by aggressor Obama. His title was, "Did Obama just declare war on Pakistan?" ? And I think the answer is clearly yes. And it's interesting that others share this view, and I think it's a view that's actually widely shared among the best informed, most intelligent, most courageous people in Pakistan, among whom we certainly number Ibrahim Malik, the U.S. correspondent of Sama Television. So this is what's going on. I urge you to get informed about this. You've got to be able to undercut Obama's demagogy. The most important single quotation from that speech, once again, is the part where Obama says the Pakistani nuclear weapons are not secure. The Pakistani nuclear weapons are subject to capture by the Taliban and or al-Qaeda, who will then use them. Now, that opens wide the Cheney Act door once again, right? The threat that terrorists will get a hold of a nuclear weapon and use it. This opens the door to the Bush doctrine, to the demagogy of Cheney, and to this idea of preventive and preemptive war, because what you're arguing really is that there's a hypothetical future possibility that the Taliban, al-Qaeda, this strange mixture, will get a hold of these nuclear weapons and then use them for purposes of terrorism. And with that, you're right back in the land of Bush-Cheney, except that this is now on a vast scale. You're not talking about Iraq. You're talking about something 6 or 7 times bigger with nuclear weapons. We'll be back in a minute.